Hi. So my husband Alex and I are leaving momentarily to head to Ojai for a couple of nights. Tomorrow is my birthday, and then the following day is our anniversary. So we will be celebrating in Ojai. Alex just dropped Kaboom off at camp, so he'll be there while we're up in Ojai. We actually first went to Ojai. We've only been once before, and we only went for the day. And we went back in the end of 2021. So it's been a while. It's been almost 5 years. We just did the day because we then spent the night in Ventura, which is very close to Ojai if you're not familiar with the area. Ventura is on the coast, and then Ojai, I think it's about like 15 miles or so north of Ventura. So it's a little inland. The reason why we didn't stay in Ojai was because we saw that there was a hotel that had vintage trailers, like Airstreams, that you could stay in. And actually there's a place in Ojai where there are Airstreams that you can stay in, but the Airstreams are new. But the place in Ventura has vintage ones that have been restored. I just couldn't pass up staying in a vintage one, and I think we ended up staying in the oldest one on the property, and we had the best time. So we did the day in Ojai, and then we spent the night at Waypoint Ventura. But this time around, going to Ojai, we're going to be staying in Ojai, and we are going to be staying at the place with the Airstreams, which is called Caravan Outpost. I think they have like roughly 10 Airstreams, and they also have a tiny home. And so we are going to be staying there for 2 nights. I'm very excited. We are starting off going to Taft Gardens and Nature Preserve, which is actually, when we went to Ojai 5 years ago, that is how we started our day. So we're going directly there, and then we're just gonna see where the day takes us. I just want to walk around a lot. We are planning on tomorrow going to Meditation Mount, which we also have been to before. Also tomorrow is the Ojai Farmers Market, which is really exciting that we'll be there for that. Aside from that, we don't really have any plans. So we have Taft Gardens this morning, and then we have Meditation Mount tomorrow. We registered, and so we can go like anytime between noon and sunset, I think is what their hours are currently. We did go last time to Meditation Mount to see the sunset, but the thing is that they close at sunset. So if you really want to stay for the full sunset and full magic hour, including the time after the sun officially sets, then they're closing. And so they're very polite, but I remember like a person just sort of like very like politely asking everyone to leave, to get out, because they were closing. I just sort of feel like it's beautiful. I love the vibe there. It's very relaxing and meditative. It's an incredible place to see the sunset, and Ojai is known for their sunsets. They call it the pink moment. But also I would love to be, I kind of feel like my favorite part of the sunset is when the sun has set, then the time after, when the sky is just insanely gorgeous. And so I don't know if we're gonna go for sunset, but tomorrow is the longest day of the year. It is the first day of summer, so typically my birthday falls on the first day of summer, June 21st. The last time that we went to Ojai, we pretty much went right at the end of autumn, when it was about to be the shortest day of the year, winter solstice, first day of winter, and now we will be there for summer solstice, first day of summer, longest day of the year. I'm gonna try to remember to give a tour of the Airstream that we're staying in. I think we're staying in the family Airstream because it was the only one that was available. I'll try to film a tour and try to film as much as I can. This is my first time taking a trip with the intention of vlogging it, as opposed to just trying to capture some video here and there like I've done in the past. But I do think that I'm probably going to do like a simple, basic at-home vlog as my first proper vlog, and then upload this vlog. And I am telling you like you're very invested, but you're probably like, whatever, I just want to see the vlogs. I don't really care when you post them. We are going to load up the car and head to Taft Gardens and Nature Preserve and then go from there. The thing with Taft Gardens and Nature Preserve is that you have to make a reservation no later than the night before. You have until 9 p.m. the night before, and I ended up making the reservation at like 7:45 last night. Just very impulsively decided that we were gonna go. And then right now they just have 2 times that you can go, either 11 or 1. And I thought it would be better to just drive straight there, go at 11. We're probably at this point getting there after 11, but we should have plenty of time. Also, we've been there before, but I haven't vlogged it. So I thought I would take you along and show you around, but then probably get lunch afterwards. And then there are so many shops. I'm so excited to just walk around Ojai. It's an incredibly walkable area. Of course, we have to go to Bart's Books. So I'm gonna try to show you as much as possible. But again, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this footage right now is usable. I am someone who just gets like overwhelmed when I'm about to travel. I have a lot of travel anxiety because I'm just a naturally anxious person, and it gets worse when I travel, but I love traveling so much. I think that's my Sagittarius rising right there. Ultimately, I can't believe I'm filming this when we have timed reservations. I think it's okay if we get there after 11. I get stuck in waiting mode when I have an appointment and I'm not able to do anything before the appointment. And it's a similar thing when I need to be leaving. I've seen so many vloggers here on YouTube where they're about to leave, they're about to do something, they have to be out of the house, and then they just like sit down to have a casual chat. And I'm like, how are you not freaking out right now? Like I just like would be way too overwhelmed to just chat for a bit. I would just have my eye on the clock. I would be so stressed. I would just be like, I can't do this right now. But they will be like, oh yeah, I needed to leave 5 minutes ago, but let's just like sit down and chat. Can never be me. But then here I am, and I told Alex to make himself busy while I sit down with you and just let you know what we're about to get up to, so then I can bring you along and you know what's going on. Yeah, I just thought that I would take the time to just sit and chat with you for a bit before heading to Ojai. We are set to get there sometime after 11. Our reservation, the window is beginning at 11. So hopefully it's okay that we're not getting there right at 11. I think it is hard because it's about a 90-minute drive to time it perfectly, and you can't really get there before 11. They are restricted in how many people can come to the gardens at once. They cap the amount of people, which is why you have to make a reservation ahead of time and why it's by appointment only. And then you also, because it's a private road, there are, I think, like multiple security gates from what I remember, where you have to like put in a code, and they send you all of the instructions the day that you go. It's about 10 of 10 now. It's gonna take us roughly 90 minutes to get to Ojai, so I really should go. I wanted to let you know what the plan is, what we're gonna be getting up to, and I wanna bring you along. Yeah, come along as we go to Ojai. Okay, so here we are in number 8, Diego, which is the family caravan. So we have this sleeping section in the back with a bunk bed. And this looks like a double. And then here is the primary, if you will. And you have windows on either side, which is really nice. We'll have to steal the pillows from the other beds. And then we have our seating area and then the dining area. And then we have a TV. And here is the kitchen. So there's a coffee bar set up. And yeah, skylight, which is really nice. Fridge and freezer. And you have your towels and the space heater. And then I have to figure out how to open the bathroom. Okay, so I figured out how to open the bathroom door. And here we have bathroom setup. So they also have a bathhouse with showers. You don't want to take a shower in here, but you can if you want to. I don't know what we're gonna do, but that's the bathroom. And then in here I just saw record player and vinyls, which is really nice. Oh, and then of course we have our moon calendar, which is a must. I'm so glad we have that. So yeah, that is the number 8 Diego family caravan here at Caravan Outpost. I'm sure I've forgotten to include something on this tour, but that's first look. I have not really gone through anything yet, so it's really spacious yet cozy. And then there's another seating area in the back where Alex is hanging out as I film this. Okay. Got a little ice bucket in here. So it's looking like an Insta coffee situation. And then there is a bag with plates and bowls and utensils, all compostable from the looks of it. Good morning. I am coming to you from our Airstream at Caravan Outpost. We are about to leave to go to the farmer's market. So there's a farmer's market here in Ojai that takes place on Sundays. There's also one that takes place during the week, but it's very exciting that we're here in town for the big Sunday farmer's market. So we are going to start the day by swinging by the farmer's market, checking it out. And then the plan is to stay in town and walk around. And we didn't make it to Bart's Books yesterday, so I definitely want to swing by at least once. Then we do have Meditation Mount today. We can go starting at noon and they're open until sunset. Yesterday, we were absolutely exhausted by the time we checked in. We just got takeaway from Hip Vegan. We also got some ice cream from Ojai Ice Cream. And then we just were done for the day. We did not want to go back out. And I fell asleep like shortly after 9. So we did not get to see the sunset. So I'm hoping that today we'll be able to catch the sunset. But we'll see how it goes. Today is my birthday. Seeing as it's the longest day of the year, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to stay outside in my outside clothes. Honestly, especially when I travel, Alex and I, we get up, we go out into the world and explore, and we just kind of go hard. And then sort of late afternoon, we retire to wherever we're staying. And then we usually do takeaway, and we typically don't then want to go back out again. And so it makes for catching the sunset a little tricky, especially when we have to kind of like leave where our hotel is and find a good place to get a good view. So yeah, yesterday we had a lot of traffic, unfortunately, on our way here. I think it was like at least 45 minutes of traffic. The drive itself isn't that long. And so I think it like increased the time in the car at least 50% of what it should have been. So we didn't end up getting to Taft Gardens and Nature Preserve until noon, but it ended up being completely fine. Like we were able, Alex just texted me because I am making him hang outside while I film this and he asked if he was still banished because I just need to be alone with you. I'm not ready at the level where I can like talk to camera with someone else in the room. We're not there yet. But I just thought I would check in with you, give you a bit of an update. So we went to Taft Gardens and Nature Preserve and we were told we could stay until 3, which is when the gardens close. So I was a little worried that they say that you have 2 hours. And so I thought we would have to leave by 1 and we didn't get there until noon. But they said we could stay until 3 and I think it was about maybe like 2:30 when we left. So we were there for quite some time. It was so lovely. It's such a peaceful, tranquil place and very intimate. I highly recommend if you're able to go. And so I'm so glad we did that because that was very much a last minute addition to our itinerary, which is very loose. Like we don't really have any plans. I prefer it that way. So I've done extensive research and kind of come up with like everything there is to do and see. And yet then when I get to a destination, I like to then just sort of see where the day takes us and kind of have certain things that structure the day, sort of foundational things that we can do, and then just leave time for spontaneity and to leave room for flexibility and not have this like rigid schedule where we are scheduled out hour by hour through the rest of the day. So yesterday we went from the garden straight into town and we did a fair amount of shopping. It was quite a successful shopping experience, and so I think I'm going to try to do a little haul at the end of this video to show you what I found. Really amazing small businesses that have a lot of sustainable, ethical items and pieces from local artisans, and it was phenomenal. exquisite shopping. 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend. We shopped till we dropped, literally, because then we checked in at Caravan Outpost, which we love. We then were like, we don't feel like going back out. I will say that I passed out and probably got like a great handful of hours and then woke up in the middle of the night. So I did not get the best night's sleep because then I couldn't go back to bed. And then I did finally go back to bed and then I woke up feeling really groggy. So Alex has already gone out to get us coffee from Ojai Coffee Roasters and it was fantastic. Highly recommend. And so I think I'm going to probably need another coffee. I'm going to need some more coffee. That's so I just thought I would check in with you, let you know how things have gone so far. So far, we are having the best time. And yeah, aside from just like the ridiculous amount of traffic for seemingly no reason at all that we had coming here, aside from that, it's been just the greatest time. We have loved it and it's been so nice to stay here. But I also, with how exhausted we were yesterday, I can't believe we did all of the things that we did when we just came for the day. But also it was easy to catch the sunset last time because we were here close to the shortest day of the year. So the sunset came a lot earlier. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to make it to the sunset tonight. But I did wake up shortly after 6, which is pretty standard. I typically wake up with the sun, and I did do a little bit of yoga. It was quite the challenge in terms of there's not a lot of height clearance in the Airstream. So high mountain was quite challenging. I did bring my travel yoga mat and do a little bit of yoga this morning, which was really nice. Had some coffee. And so I just wanted to check in with you, let you know what was going on before we start our day. So we are going to start off with the farmer's market. I think that it is now 9:04, so it is officially open. It's very close from here. I think it's only a few minutes drive. Everything is really close together. We also could walk, but I think that because we're going to spend an extended period of time in town and we might be getting things, that it just will make sense to have the car. Hopefully I was able to kind of get through everything. I don't know. Probably left a bunch of stuff out. But anyway, we are about to head to the farmer's market and I'm going to take you along. Good morning. It is the morning of Monday, June 22nd. It is Alex and my anniversary today. We are going to be checking out momentarily. Alex is packing up the car. Checkout is at 11 and it is 9:56. Yesterday we started off going to the farmer's market, which was incredible. I was overwhelmed by the amount of gorgeous people at this farmer's market, and they all had fabulous market baskets that they were toting around. So the vendors were incredible, but then also the people watching was pretty immaculate. And then we just walked around town. We made it to Bart's Books. After the farmer's market, we beelined to Bart's Books. Then we went to the Ojai Valley Museum and then walked around town a bit more. We then ended up getting food from Hip Vegan again for lunch this time. We had lunch and just sort of relaxed back at Caravan Outpost, and then we headed to Meditation Mount, and it was spectacular. It was exactly what we had hoped for. Just an incredibly special place, very tranquil, gorgeous, just the best vibes. After we left, we proceeded to go get some crystals, as you do. So we went to the crystal corner. We also happened upon Firestick Pottery Studio and stopped over there and ended up getting quite a few ceramic pieces. They had pieces for as little as $1. I think one of the pieces we got was like $2.50, and the most expensive piece we got was $20. So crystals and ceramics. What more could you ask for? Actually, my weaknesses are probably bags. I'm a total bag lady, always have been, ever since I was really young. Like, I got my first purse. I got a denim purse and had my name on it, and it was over for me. Like, I've been a bag lady ever since. And then bags, ceramics, and crystals, evidently. We can't say enough amazing things about Ojai. It's been so nice to come here and spend more time as opposed to just coming for the day. So it's been so nice to be able to spend a couple nights here. I slept a lot better last night than I did the previous night. I also managed to take a shower yesterday in one of the shower rooms, so I didn't shower in the Airstream, and it was a little bit of a mixed bag. Like, it's a beautiful room, and they do have a heater that you can turn on, like a timed heater that you can turn on when you're in there, which is a really nice touch and much appreciated, because it's a big room, so you're gonna get very cold if you're underwater and then stepping out of the shower and you're still in this like vast room. So it was really nice having the heater, but I will say the water pressure was quite weak, and the temperature, it just didn't stay hot for very long. But it was just nice to take a shower, and we've absolutely loved our stay here. It is so beautifully landscaped, so thoughtfully landscaped, and you feel very secluded even though you're right next to other trailers, and it's so quiet and peaceful, and there's like a center communal area where people gather, but then it's so quiet at night. We just have been loving it here. So highly recommend Caravan Outpost, especially if you're sort of drawn to a glamping experience. I love tiny spaces. We live in a very small space, and we feel right at home. So we've been staying in the family caravan because it was the only one available when we booked it, and it's quite spacious. It's really nice, and we use the extra bed area for our bags. And then we did manage to watch the sunset. We ended up at a scenic overlook. It was really lovely because there were a bunch of other people, like not a ton, but just a handful of other people gathered. There was something so pure about a group of strangers gathering to watch the sunset, and everyone was taking their photos, and it just was a really beautiful experience to just have a bunch of random people, strangers, gathering and taking in the beauty that is the environment around us. So we made it up we were outside late enough to see the sunset. So got to see the sunset and end my birthday on a beautiful note. So we are going to check out. We're going to go for a hike at Ojai Meadows Preserve, which is, I think, just a mile, but we just want to get a little hike in before we get on the road. And then on our way out of town, we are going to stop at Sun Oven gluten-free vegan bakery. And then we are headed to go pick up Kaboom from camp. And then our trip will have come to a close. So come along with us on a hike before we head out of town. We are now back from Ojai. Alex and I ended up having just the absolute best time. We, after checking out, went for a final stroll in town before heading to Ojai Meadows Preserve, which was absolutely beautiful. And then we couldn't resist stopping at Sun Oven on our way out of town, so we picked up quite a few baked goods. We got one of each of the flavors of donuts that they had, as well as a cinnamon roll. And then they had just started making in-house pickles, which I could not resist getting a jar, so we picked up a jar of their in-house dill pickles. And then I also could not resist, I saw that they had vegan cheese made in Hawaii, and so I just had to add that to our order. But now we're back in Los Angeles and I have reviewed all of the footage from Ojai. It was a lot. I hope that this first travel vlog isn't too long. I ended up taking a ton of video, and upon reflection, I plan on putting most of it into this vlog, but I feel like I could probably pull back a bit. Hopefully it is enjoyable and not a drag, because there's gonna be basically like 3 vibey videos and stitched together with then chatty mornings, which I want to be completely candid. It was incredibly difficult for me to get through the chatty morning footage of me just sitting in the Airstream both mornings. I think like the second morning was even harder for me to get through. I honestly thought about not including those chatty mornings in the vlog because of how hard it was for me to look at myself in those videos, but I feel like they're important to have in the vlog. I think it's important to have me in Ojai talking about the experience and not just having me with the bookend, like talking about Ojai before we go ago and then coming home and talking about it. I think it is nice having videos where I'm talking about it more so in the moment, even though it was sort of like debriefing, checking in, as opposed to being out and about and talking to you in the moment. So I'm not there yet. I don't know if I will ever be there. I don't know if that's going to end up really kind of being my style of vlogging, or if I just sort of prefer when I'm out and about having the B-roll footage and then coming back and talking about it. But I'm keeping the footage in, but just know it was really hard for me to edit. But I hope that with time, I just feel neutral about it. That's all I can hope for, is that I don't have such a strong negative reaction to it in the future. But I think that I did pretty okay summarizing what we had done and letting you know what we were going to be getting up to. So I didn't leave too much out. I do want to mention that for our final night, we got takeaway from Ojai Pub. And then our final morning, we not only had coffee, but breakfast from Ojai Coffee Roasters again. And so I wanted to mention that. And I also mentioned the shower room, but I wanted to also mention the communal private bathrooms that are available that are right next to the shower room. And then there's also a separate all-in-one handicap accessible room that is both a shower room and a bathroom. It's, I think, really nice having that additional option, especially if you're sharing your Airstream with at least another person. Having those additional shower and bathrooms is really nice to have. Like I said, Alex and I had the absolute best time, and I think that it's very fitting, seeing as Ojai, after Alex and I moved to Los Angeles, Ojai was the first place we went to for a little getaway. And so I think it's very fitting that now it is the subject of my very first travel vlog. Without further ado, I'm gonna go right into the shopping haul, because we, as I mentioned multiple times, I think not only in this vlog, but I know I definitely in my first vlog, which is the previous vlog, the vlog from last week, I mentioned we did quite a bit of shopping. I'm gonna start off with all of our edible souvenirs, beginning with what we picked up at the farmer's market. So the first thing that we purchased is this grapefruit infused vinegar from Mama Tree. They suggest mixing with olive oil, using as a marinade, or inventing your own recipe. I absolutely love hot sauce, so we had to get hot sauces from the brand is Charman, and so we got the original. And then I love any pineapple hot sauce, and then Dos Locals. We picked up a jam and a marmalade from Caroline's Marmalade. So we have the strawberry jasmine, and then of course I could not resist the Ojai Pixie. Finally, at the farmer's market, we picked up Ojai Pixie infused olive oil from Ojai Olive Oil Company, which we have been to. They do tastings on their property. They have a store and they do tastings. We didn't do the tasting, but we wanted to pick up a bottle of olive oil, and it just worked out that they were at the farmer's market. Then the other two, the final two edible souvenirs that we purchased are both from the boutique Sundays. First, we have another marmalade. This is a Pixie Tangerine marmalade from Marmalade Grove. And then there is this tea shop in Ojai called Magic Hour. But when we were in Sundays, I saw that they had the Pink Moment Pixie tea. We didn't make it into Magic Hour, the shop, but I did pick up some of their teas. This is feeling sort of chaotic, but I'm just trying to roll with it. Okay, so those are all the edible souvenirs. Keeping with the consumable souvenirs, we purchased some seeds. And so the first place we purchased seeds from was our very first stop, Taft Gardens, a nature preserve. And I was stopped in my tracks. I love the tarot card style of the packaging. And of course, this is California Poppy Mix. Then there is this wildflower moon phase plantino set. How cool is that? Just like the most beautiful packaging. And then it gives you the moon cycle. The camera's now blurry because we sort of lost sun a little bit. Great. New moons are the best time for new beginnings, which makes this gift set of 5 seed balls the perfect way to initiate fresh intentions through the ritual act of planting. So the brand is Sow the Magic. Then Plant Good Seed. They were at the farmer's market, but we actually picked this up in the gift shop of Ojai Valley Museum. And it's Purple Gleam California Poppy. Yeah, so those are our seeds. The remaining consumable souvenirs that we have, first we have a couple bars of soap, and they're both by the brand Ojai Botanica. And this is Indigo Mint, and it's 100% vegan handcrafted soap made with love in Ojai. And then we have Ojai Rose. I purchased this one from Bungalow by Fig, and I purchased this first, and then I saw this at Fig Curated Living, so then I picked this up. So 2 soaps. Finally, we have 2 items also from the boutique Sundays. This candle from the brand Night Blooms, and it is Pixie Blossom, this little mini candle. And then we have from Ojai Essential, so made in Ojai, Ojai Pixie Aromatherapy Mist. And this is for face, body, and room. Those are all of our consumable souvenirs. So now I'll move on to the rest of what we have. Okay, so first off, we have this. It is a vintage vinyl floor cloth rug, and so it's made to look vintage, so they are intentionally distressed in how they look. I saw it and I thought it looked so cool, and I envision it going in our bathroom, so hopefully it looks good there. We also picked up a couple of ceramic pieces. So first we have this little vessel, and there's a little sort of indent, so it has a great hand feel. So you could use it as a mug, but you could also use it as a vase, or just, I love a little vessel. This piece is exquisite, and of course it is inspired by Ojai and made by a ceramicist who lives in Ojai. It's a very small size, so I don't know if I'll actually use this as a mug. They did have pieces that were sort of vase style that didn't have a handle. Like, I just was so in love with this particular design and the glazing, and I loved this one the most. Okay, so then we went to Fire Stick Pottery. I mentioned this earlier, and we ended up getting 6 pieces there. Fire Stick Pottery, it's a pottery studio, so they have classes there that you can take, and then they also have a bunch of pieces of pottery for sale, and they have student pottery, so that's where you get like the really great deals, because they have student tables that are just filled with ceramics ranging from $1 to $5, and so you can find some incredible pieces there and get some amazing deals. Okay, so first I picked up this book, Gambit, which I've seen the 1966 film. I saw it within the past few years for the first time, and so it has Michael Caine and then Shirley MacLaine, who's just absolutely enchanting in it. I mean, she's enchanting in everything I've ever seen her in, but I was so taken with her in this film, and I just thought it would be fun to get the book. I hadn't realized that it was based on a book. I was just gonna get that, and then I saw Haunted lady. I mean, the cover alone, obviously I'm gonna get that. And it's a novel of romance and suspense. What more could you want? So had to pick up Haunted Lady. And then I don't think my brother is going to be watching this, so I feel like I can show it, but I picked this book up, The Cruel Sea. And I don't know if he'll actually end up reading it, but it's gonna look fantastic on a shelf. So this will be one of his Christmas presents. Those are our books from Bart's Books. Then, as we were heading out of town at Findings Flea, we saw this vinyl and couldn't resist. I love Frank Sinatra. So now this opal necklace. I love dainty jewelry, and I just love the faint color of the opal. It's so pretty. So then we went to Mud Lotus, which is fair trade, ethical, and sustainable wear handcrafted in India. And I picked up this Kantha tote. It's vintage hand-stitched Kantha, and then it's a wood block print. And I am absolutely in love with the color and the detail. And then it has a magnetic closure, which is really nice. And then it has an interior zip pocket, which is incredible, and it's lined. She included a card. Kantha has magical powers that symbolize prayers, keep the wearer safe, and aid in obtaining happiness and prosperity. So yeah, that is what I got from Mud Lotus. Then we went to Rain's department store. I love an independent department store, and I ended up picking up this little zipper pouch, and it is from Dreamweaver, and it was hand sewn in Bolivia, fair trade certified. And I thought this would be great for sunblock, bringing to the beach, that sort of thing. I feel like it's always nice to have a great pouch, and it says it's virtually indestructible. And then Alex got this overshirt from Rain's. So yeah, we have that. And then finally, we have the crystals I picked up. I absolutely love the Crystal Corner and highly recommend if you're into crystals. It's definitely worth a visit. And what's really nice is that with your crystals, you get these cards that tell you all about your crystals. So first off, we have this bracelet, which is rhodonite, and the properties are love, self-worth, hidden talents, development, and community. And then I picked up this carnelian star, and I love that there's sort of like this little it's like a shooting star or like a little moonbeam. The properties of carnelian are courage, vitality, sexuality, confidence, action, and cleansing. And then I got this little piece of pyrite, and the properties are protection, abundance, and good luck. And then finally, last but certainly not least, is this exquisite angel light unicorn. And I am both a horse girl and a Lisa Frank girl, so this was something that I could not resist picking up. I needed to have it. The properties of angel light are tranquility, angelic realm, higher purpose, and forgiveness. I think that is everything. It just felt very chaotic because I was moving around a lot. I'm now surrounded by all of our purchases, and I'm a little overwhelmed. Oh, last but not least, we picked up a bag of coffee from Ojai Coffee Roasters. but we have since opened it. So we got a bag of beans from Ojai Coffee Roasters. So yeah, I will put all of the details for not only what we purchased and where we purchased it from, but then also where we went, where we ate, all of those details from our trip. I'm gonna try to put them in the description box for this video. So down below, check that out if you are curious of any of the details of the trip, if there was something that looked interesting and you want to look into it further. So not only will I put the details, but I'm going to try to link everything and make it as user friendly as possible. That does it for my very first travel vlog, our vlog of Ojai. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this vlog almost as much as we enjoyed the trip. We just truly had the best time. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. Hopefully the vlog wasn't too long, but let me know what you think. Feel free to leave a comment. As always, any likes are very much appreciated, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. I just appreciate all of your support, truly. And yeah, that does it for my very first travel vlog. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you had an amazing time. Until next time.